Hey there, you're listening to the Girls Talking Life podcast, and I'm your host, Johanna. If you're like me, you love time with friends. I always leave feeling encouraged, inspired to try something different, or I've learned something new. So why not continue to grow even when we can't be with our girlfriends? We're not made to do life on our own. So in each episode of this show, I'll bring you a girl and her story to give you refreshing ideas to stir your soul. Let's walk this road together. Are you ready to talk life? Hello, and welcome to week 5 of the Summer of Friendship series. Last week, we talked about personality and your uniqueness and how you are needed as a friend. You being a friend is a blessing to the people you're with. Know who you are in Christ, be fully who He made you to be, and then focus on the women He's put in your life. If you missed that mini episode, be sure to go back and catch it. Today, Jill is back. Special guest host, Jill E. McCormick, is sharing more of her story and what to do when you feel too fragile for friendship. Jill is the host of the Grace in Real Life podcast and the writer behind JillEMcCormick.com, spaces where she shares common sense grace with the try-hard girl who wants her faith to intersect with her real and full life. Jill lives in South Texas with her high school sweetheart, now husband Ryan, their 2 daughters, and 1 Vizsla puppy. All the ways to connect with Jill can be found in the show notes. Let's dig in.
I load our baby and toddler into the car. Sleep deprivation has sunk into my bones. But we're headed to Mothers of Preschoolers anyway, with the help of MapQuest, because I have no idea where I'm going in this new town. I hope to meet one nice mom, but really I'll settle for any adult with a pulse who isn't throwing a sippy cup on the floor. And yet, as much as I want to meet someone, I simultaneously hope to meet no one, because she'll ask me how I'm doing, an innocuous question that could potentially trigger tears. I remember this fragile moment like it was yesterday, but it was 13 years ago. Some seasons of life feel more fragile than others. I feel fragile in times of transition, uncertainty, and newness. During seasons like these, I know that if I fall apart, I'll break into 1,000 sharp, jagged pieces. My fragile heart sends me 2 equally real and equally opposite messages. 1, sharp, jagged pieces are not conducive to healthy relationships. And 2, I need people. There's tension between what I need to do, make friends, and what I want to do, hide in a corner. I'm desperate to connect, but I fear falling apart. In this tension, I can either follow the way of Jill or the way of Jesus, both equally viable and equally opposite. The way of Jill is to strap a mask over my fragile heart. At MOPS, I didn't want anyone to detect vulnerability, so I resolved to wear my all-together mask. The more fragile I feel, the tighter the mask is secured, but it suffocates who I most truly am. This feels like the best route until it's not. The way of Jill is to have a one-sided friendship. Fragile Jill can't bear the weight of friendship or the energy it requires because, in my view of friendships, everything depends on me always being strong, supportive, and helpful. It's connection on my terms when I'm ready with answers and a clean house. It's configuring a facade that all is well, even when my insides are screaming that all is not. It's constructing my life in such a way that I don't need your help. But the way of Jesus is to live authentically. My mask never fools Jesus. He knows that my all-togetherness doesn't serve me or others, and He prefers that I live healthy and whole, not hidden. He wants me to risk exposing my imperfections and allowing my feelings to come to the surface. The way of Jesus is a true, two-sided friendship. Because what if friendship is not about me helping you, but about two broken and flawed souls communing over shared humanity? Friendship is unity in our brokenness, the understanding that it's okay to bring our hurts, needs, and emotions to the table. Friendship is a practice of humility, because I accept help from others while not being the strong, altogether one all the time. Friendship is not cleaning myself up on my own, but processing with others who are safe and gentle with my heart, but still firm in their convictions. Friendship is not connecting when I'm ready, but connecting in the midst of the hurt, through the call that's more sniffling than speaking, and the silence as we sit on the couch and stare at our knees. It is dismantling the facade and cheering each other on. Friendship is constructing my world in a way that makes you an integral part of my life and development. The way of Jesus is a total gift of grace. Peter is a fragile man after Jesus' death. In his weakened state, facing a life without the one he followed and loved, Peter returns to his boat, his place of comfort and familiarity. Jesus visits the shore, and Peter recognizes him. He runs toward Jesus, and he doesn't stop to strap on his mask. Jesus makes him breakfast and asks Peter questions that get at his heart and remind him how loved he is. The simple act of asking questions over breakfast gets me every time. In my fragility, I need someone to bring me a cupcake with sprinkles and ask me questions. And that's what Jesus did. Sort of, no sprinkles. Good friends know what Jesus knows. We all need presence, healing questions, and restored connection. A fragile heart gives us permission not to be perfect. At MOPS, we go around the table and ask each other the pre-printed questions. The woman next to me bursts into tears as she shares. My fragile heart breaks for her, and I want this type of fearless woman as my friend. In her tears, my eyes open to this truth. Her sharing her hurt was my permission slip not to be perfect. And friends, we are friends 13 years later. So sister, if you're feeling fragile today, let that be your cue that you have permission not to be perfect. God gives us friendship during fragile seasons to offer help and hope. Friendship is the grace of presence, restoration, and connection.